Mexico territory, summer 1884, high noon. The sun scorches the hidden canyon, its heat rippling off red mesas that tower like silent giants, sagebrush brittle under the relentless light. Ethan Black's camp sits tucked in a rocky alcove, a lone tent and campfire among junipers, his horse tied nearby. Ethan, 39, his face weathered by loss, tends the fire, his dark eyes distant. 2 years ago, a shootout took his brother, leaving him with a ranch he sold and a life of wandering. He's a cowboy without a herd, avoiding towns, his revolver always close. His days are dust, silence, and memories he drowns in solitude. The canyon trail winds narrow, and Ethan rides out to check traps, his horse picking through loose rocks. The wind howls hot, dust stinging his eyes. Suddenly his horse stumbles, hooves slipping on a hidden ledge. Ethan tumbles, rolling down a slope, landing hard in a dry wash. Pain shoots through his leg, but he draws his revolver, scanning for threats. His eyes land on her, a young woman crouched in the shadows, her long black hair framing a face of quiet strength. Her bronze skin is dusted with sand, her Apache dress simple but adorned with healer's beads. Her dark eyes meet his, alert but unafraid, though she doesn't speak. She's deaf, Ethan realizes, her hands gesturing, help or danger. Ethan lowers his gun, wincing as he stands, his leg bruised but unbroken. She rises, moving closer, her gaze steady, hands signing questions he can't read. "You okay?" he asks, voice rough. She nods, pointing to his horse above, then to a hidden cave nearby. Ethan follows, limping, into the cool shade. Inside, the cave holds herbs and woven baskets, signs of a healer's sanctuary. She's alone, shunned, he senses. Her people's beads mark her as Apache, but her isolation screams outcast. "I'm Ethan," he says, extending a hand. She hesitates, then touches it, her fingers warm, signing her name, Saya. Saya's father was the tribe's healer. Ethan pieces together from signs and gestures, but a curse, her deafness, made her untouchable. The tribe shunned her, fearing bad omens. Ethan's heart tightens, memories of his brother's betrayal flashing. "They're wrong," he says, voice firm. Saya's eyes soften, a spark of trust. She offers water from a gourd, her hands steady. Outside, the sun beats down, but in the cave, a fragile connection forms. Ethan knows bounty hunters roam these canyons, seeking Apache relics, and Saya's beads make her a target. "I'll help you," he says, sealing his choice. The canyon watches, dust swirling, as two outcasts find each other. Early afternoon, the sun climbs higher, its heat searing the canyon, red mesas glowing like molten rock under a cloudless sky. Ethan Black's camp sits in the rocky alcove, the tent patched with canvas, the campfire smoldering in the dry air. Inside Saya's hidden cave, the cool shade offers respite, its walls lined with woven baskets and dried herbs, a healer's sanctuary abandoned by her tribe. Ethan leans against the rock, his leg bandaged with cloth from his shirt, wincing as he adjusts his position. His revolver rests nearby, his dark eyes watching Saya. She kneels, her hands deftly grinding herbs into a paste, her long black hair falling over her face, adorned with healer's beads that clink softly. Her deaf silence fills the space, her dark eyes sharp, reading his every move. Ethan takes the paste she offers, smearing it on his bruised leg, the cool relief cutting through the pain. "Thanks," he says, voice rough, unused to company. Saya nods, her hands signing, gratitude then a question he can't grasp. He frowns, frustrated, but she smiles, tracing shapes in the dirt. Water, horse, danger. Ethan catches the warning. Bounty hunters, he guesses, their presence a shadow since he entered the canyon. "They're after your relics?" he asks, pointing to the beads. Saya's eyes darken, her hands signing a story. Her father's death, the tribe's fear, her exile. Ethan's chest tightens, memories of his brother's betrayal surfacing, two outcasts bound by rejection. She hands him a gourd of water, her fingers brushing his, a spark in the dry heat. Ethan holds her gaze, seeing strength where others saw a curse. "You're not alone now," he says, voice firm. Saya's lips curve slightly, a rare smile, and she signs, trust, hope. Outside, the canyon hums with cicadas, but a sharper sound cuts through. Hoofbeats, distant but growing. Ethan grabs his revolver, limping to the cave's edge. Saya follows, her hands signaling stealth, pointing to a ridge where three riders emerge, rifles glinting in the sun. Bounty hunters, their scarves hiding faces, eyes scanning for Apache signs. Ethan pulls Saya back into the shadows, his heart pounding. "They'll find us," he whispers, though she can't hear. She signs, "Hide, fight," her resolve mirroring his. He nods, dragging a rock to block the entrance, their movements synchronized. Saya hands him a sharpened stick, her healer's hands now weapons, and they crouch, waiting. The hoof beats slow, voices muffled by the canyon walls. Ethan's leg throbs, but his focus is on her silence a strength, her presence a lifeline. The cave grows tense, the sun casting harsh shadows as two outcasts prepare to face the threat together, their bond deepening in the face of danger. Mid-afternoon, the sun burns fierce, its heat shimmering off the canyon walls, red mesas glowing like molten embers under a relentless sky. Ethan Black's cave hideout, nestled in the rocky alcove, pulses with tension. The entrance is half blocked by a heavy rock, shadows dancing inside where Ethan and Saya wait. Ethan crouches, revolver in hand, his bandaged leg throbbing, sweat beading on his weathered face. His dark eyes flick to the entrance, listening for the bounty hunter's approach. Saya kneels beside him, her Apache bow drawn, a sharpened stick at her side, her healer's beads glinting faintly in the dim light. Her deaf silence fills the space, her hands steady, signaling, "Wait, listen," her dark eyes sharp with resolve. The hoofbeats grow louder, gravel crunching outside as the hunters dismount. Voices filter through. Three men, their tones rough, searching for Apache relics. "The beads mean a healer's stash," one growls. "She's here." Ethan grips his revolver, nodding to Saya. She signs, trapped now, pointing to a woven mat near the entrance, rigged with a snare her father taught her. Ethan drags it aside, revealing a pit lined with sharpened stakes. The lead hunter, a scar-faced man with a rifle, steps forward, peering into the cave. His boot catches the snare, and he tumbles with a yell, impaling himself. The others curse, firing blindly, bullets ricocheting off the rock walls. Ethan returns fire, his shot clipping a hunter's shoulder, sending him sprawling. Saya moves with silent grace, loosing an arrow that strikes the second man's leg, pinning him to the ground. He screams, dropping his gun. The third hunter retreats, shouting, "She's a demon!" as he mounts and flees, dust rising in the sun. The canyon falls quiet, save for the wounded man's groans. Ethan lowers his revolver, breathing hard, his leg aching. Saya drops her bow, her hands trembling but her eyes fierce, signing, victory, safety. Ethan catches her hand, his grip firm, a warmth passing between them. He pulls her close, checking for wounds, his fingers brushing her cheek. "You're stronger than they think," he says, voice rough with admiration. Saya's lips curve, a rare smile, and she signs, together, always, her trust breaking through her silence. Ethan nods, his heart stirring, memories of his brother fading against her courage. Outside, the sun beats down, the dead hunter's body a grim reminder of the threat. Saya kneels, gathering herbs to treat the wounded man's leg, her healer's instinct guiding her. Ethan watches, awed, as she binds the wound, her hands steady despite the chaos. Their bond deepens, forged in battle, the cave now a shared refuge as the canyon holds its breath for the next move. Late afternoon, the sun hangs low, casting a golden haze over the dusty canyon, red mesas glowing in the fading light. Cole's cabin stands scarred from the slavers' attack. Bullet holes pocking the walls, shattered glass crunching underfoot. Dust swirls in the hot breeze, the junipers casting long shadows across the yard. Cole hammers a board over a broken window, sweat soaking his shirt, his face set with determination. Tala sweeps the glass from the floor inside, her bow within reach, her movements sure in Cole's wool shirt. Their fight has forged a bond, her arrow saving him, his revolver her. The air is thick with the scent of sagebrush and lingering gunpowder, but also with something new: trust, growing in the heat of their shared survival. Cole pauses, wiping sweat from his brow, his gray eyes lingering on Tala as she steps out to join him. Her dark hair catches the sunlight, her face softer but still fierce, the torn dress patched with makeshift stitches. "You didn't run," he says, voice low, rough. Tala looks up, her dark eyes steady. "I'm no slave," she says, her voice carrying the pride of her Apache heritage. Cole's throat tightens, memories of his wife's strength rising. "Why stay?" he asks, his hammer lowering. Tala sets the broom aside, stepping closer, the heat of the day pressing around them like a blanket. "You fought for me," she says. "Not many would." Her words crack his defenses, and Cole feels the walls he's built since his wife's death begin to crumble. "Lost my wife to fever," he says, voice heavy with the pain he's buried. "Thought I'd never care again." Tala's hand brushes his arm, deliberate, her touch warm in the desert air. "Caring keeps you alive," she says, her voice soft but certain, echoing the lessons of her chief father. Their eyes lock, the canyon shrinking around them, the sun's glow warm on their faces like a promise. Cole takes her hand, hesitant at first, then firm. "I won't let them take you," he says, a vow breaking through his silence. Tala's breath catches, her fingers tightening in his. She leans up, and their lips meet in a slow, careful kiss, heavy with years of loss and newfound hope. The touch is electric, her body pressing against his, the curve of her figure warm under the wool shirt. When they part, her forehead rests against his, her voice a whisper in the fading light. "I stay if you'll have me." Cole nods, his heart pounding. "Stay," he replies, the word a seal on their bond. They resume repairs, nailing boards over the holes, patching the walls with what wood they have. Tala hums an Apache tune, her chief father's memory in the notes, but her eyes on Cole, soft with trust. As they work, a shadow flickers on the mesa ridge. Riders more than before. Cole's hammer stills, raised in mid-swing. Tala follows his gaze, her bow within reach. "More of them," she says, voice hard, resolute. Cole nods, his resolve matching hers. The fight's not over, but they're no longer alone. Their bond a shield against the gathering threat. Midday, the sun blazes mercilessly, its heat rippling off the canyon floor. Red mesas shimmering like fire against a cloudless sky. Cole's cabin stands battle-worn but resolute, its patched walls baking in the light, a thin wisp of smoke curling from the chimney. Dust swirls in the hot breeze, the junipers and sagebrush casting jagged shadows across the yard. Cole stands on the porch, revolver now holstered at his hip, his gray eyes scanning the ridge where danger looms. Tala joins him, her bow slung over her shoulder, quiver at her hip, her dark hair braided tightly, her face set with purpose in Cole's wool shirt. The air hums with cicadas, but a deeper tension lingers. The slavers are gathering. Cole points to the ridge, where 6 riders appear, their silhouettes dark against the sun-bleached sky. Their scarves hide faces, rifles gleaming in the light. "They brought more," he says, voice low, steady. Tala's eyes narrow, her hand tightening on the knife at her belt. "They want me, or my father's ransom," she says, her voice fierce, laced with the vengeance that burns since her husband's death. Cole studies her, seeing the chief's daughter in her resolve, a strength that reignites his own. Inside, they prepare with urgency. Cole loads cartridges, his hands steady from years of ranch work. Tala sharpens arrows, her movements precise, drawing on her Apache heritage. She kneels, sketching a plan in the dust on the floor. "Use the canyon," she says, showing signals, hand gestures for stealth, traps hidden in the sagebrush. "Draw them to the corral, let the sun blind them." Cole nods, impressed, his cowboy instincts blending with her warrior's skill. Their hands brush as they work, a quiet intimacy in their shared purpose. The cabin feels like theirs now, not just his. "You fight like you were born to it," Cole says, voice rough but warm. Tala's eyes meet his, steady. "I am my father's daughter," she says. "You fight like you found something worth dying for." Cole's chest tightens, her words true. "Maybe I have," he replies, his gaze lingering on her, the heat of the day mirroring the warmth growing between them. Her eyes soften, a spark flaring in the quiet. They step outside, setting traps, sagebrush pits, rigged rocks to roll. The riders watch from the ridge, a dark promise in their stillness. The sun beats down, shadows short and harsh. Cole and Tala stand side by side, weapons ready. "They'll come soon," Tala says, her voice fierce, unwavering. "Let them," Cole replies, his hand brushing hers, a fleeting touch that seals their bond. The cabin's scars mirror their own, but together they're unbreakable. The ridge grows still, but the air crackles with the fight to come, their resolve a fire hotter than the desert sun. The canyon explodes with action as 6 slavers charge from the ridge, their horses thundering down the trail, rifles spitting fire. Dust clouds rise, mingling with the hot breeze as Cole and Tala brace inside the scarred cabin, its patched walls trembling under the barrage. Cole fires through a shutter crack, his revolver dropping a rider in a spray of dirt, the man crumpling with a groan. Tala's arrow flies true, piercing another slaver's shoulder, his scream echoing as his horse bolts, dragging him into the sagebrush. The leader, his crooked nose twisted in rage, shouts, "Take her alive!" But his voice cracks as Cole's bullet grazes his mount, forcing a wild swerve. The slaver's gunfire rakes the cabin, splintering wood, but Cole and Tala's traps turn the tide. A rider gallops toward the corral, only to plunge into a sagebrush pit, his yell cut short as he hits the stakes below, horse rearing in panic. Another triggers a rigged rock trap, stones crashing down to pin him, dust choking the air. Tala's next arrow finds his thigh, and he collapses, cursing. Cole reloads with steady hands, his cowboy grit shining, while Tala knocks another shot, her Apache skill honed by her father's teachings. "They're faltering," she calls, her voice fierce, eyes blazing with pride. The leader charges, rifle raised, but Tala's arrow pierces his hand, blood spraying into the dust. He howls, dropping his weapon, his horse rearing as he clutches the wound. "Retreat!" he bellows, voice breaking, and the 2 surviving slavers wheel their mounts, fleeing into the junipers, dust swirling behind them. Silence settles, heavy with the desert's hum, broken only by the settling gravel. Cole lowers his revolver, chest heaving, sweat streaking his face. Tala sets her bow down, her breath steady, a triumphant glint in her dark eyes. They step outside, the yard a battlefield. Bullet casings glint, blood stains the earth, but the canyon is theirs. "They won't return," Cole says, voice firm, scanning the ridge for movement. Tala nods, her hand resting on his arm, warm under the sun's glare. "We fought as one," she replies, her voice soft yet resolute, echoing her chief father's strength. They move to the corral, the late sun casting golden light on their faces. The mesas standing guard. Cole pulls Tala close, his hands framing her face, her eyes meeting his with a depth of shared pain and hope. Their lips meet in a deep, lingering kiss, years of isolation dissolving in the heat of their embrace. "Stay with me," Cole murmurs, forehead against hers. "This is our home now." Tala smiles, a rare softness breaking her warrior's edge. "I'm yours," she vows, her voice steady, rooted in the canyon's heart. They turn to the cabin, its scars a testament to their fight, the dust settling as the sun dips lower. The wind carries away the battle's echoes, leaving their shared heartbeat. 2 broken souls, once adrift, have forged a family in the desert, their love an unbreakable fire. The cabin stands as their haven, built on trust, ready for a future among the mesas.